Hello again, I'm Jim Glover, that branding guy for Once a Day Marketing. It's Action Wednesday, and we're going to talk to you today about actually creating a script and shooting your first video or your next video in our series called Producing Winning Videos Part 2. Now that I've got you thinking about producing your video, what are the elements that are going to truly make it successful? Well, first you have to have a really compelling angle. Think about all the bad television you watch, right? If it isn't very compelling, if it isn't very informative, if it isn't very entertaining, you don't watch it. The same is going to be true with your production about your business and your product. So you really have to think about the story. And then you need to script it. We're going to talk about that in a second, but you need to think about exactly what you're going to see in the video and what you're going to hear in the video and who's going to be in the video. And then next you have to think about producing it. And there's all sorts of questions, but we have some buzzwords: pre-production, production, post-production. How much are you going to spend on this video production, and what's going to be the production schedule? You're going to be able to shoot it in a day, a week, perhaps over the course of a month. So those are the things you have to think about when you're the producer of your video. Now, what are some of the key things you need to be thinking about when you go into production, when you become the producer, so to speak? Well, first is the script. And I recommend you go out and you use something as simple as Word and create a 2-column table. And the left column can be video. That's everything that's going to be seen in your show. And the right column is audio. And you can begin scripting out what you're going to see and what you're going to say, or what other people are going to say. You also want to think about titles, and you want to think about graphics. Today it's very easy to create all sorts of graphics. So I'm sure you probably have ties with somebody who is a graphic animator, graphic illustrator, and it's very important to include those kinds of things in your show, because we talked about production value. And the more quality you're shooting and the more things like titles and graphics that you put in there, the perception is it's a higher end product, the perception is it's a higher end brand. Now, the production side. You got to make some decisions here. If you're the producer, you have to decide who's going to direct this thing, who's physically going to shoot this thing, how much are you going to spend on this production. And like I've said, it can be very low end, it can be very high end. The main thing is to maintain production value regardless of your budget. What kind of equipment are you going to be using? Where are you going to shoot this? Then you also have to think about who's going to be in the video, and this is very important. First thing you might want to think about is putting yourself or employees in your videos. Now that's good news, bad news. Those people have a good understanding of the product, but sometimes they leave the organization. So if in fact you're considering putting somebody in the organization, I wouldn't necessarily emphasize on somebody who might not be around somewhere in the future. That makes your video null and void, so to speak. But you also want to make sure you get a release from them authorizing you to use their likeness in the production. And you might want to even give them a little extra compensation. That way it was part of their job. You paid them to be in the video. So there is consideration for their services in your video. You might think about a corporate spokesperson. A lot of people hire other people to come in and speak on behalf of your company. I've hired a lot of key spokespeople in my day, and the very good ones are worth the money that they charge. And then you might have other people in your video, background, extras, whatever. Just the main thing is make sure you get releases authorizing you to use their likeness once again in your video production. Lights, camera, action. You are now ready to be a producer, director. Who knows, maybe you'll even be the star of your own video like I am. So you'll go out, you'll get that video scripted, you'll go out and you get that video shot. You'll also go out and get that video edited. It's kind of fun when you finally sit down, see all your clips, and assemble it into a show or story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if it is truly a good video, there's going to be a call to action. You're going to incite your audience to get excited about something and to call you or to go to a website. That's what you want to do with your video. You want to get them engaged, and you want to give them a call to action to follow that will then benefit your business. I hope you really enjoyed our 2-part series on producing winning videos. In my experience, there aren't many things better than producing a video, especially with the YouTubes out there and smartphones, where that video can go right to the customer when they want to learn about your product.
If you feel you might need some support in producing your video, feel free to contact me. I'm always available for one-on-one service engagement. I'm Jim Glover, that branding guy for Once a Day Marketing, and we'll see you next time.